Hello there. Hi, Projector. In today's training, I want to talk to you a little bit about how and why it's different for projectors to sell successfully. Selling for me always implies that there's an enrollment or a money transaction that follows. And maybe you've been on sales calls before, I don't know, but I'm curious if you've ever had that experience that you wanted to sign up with someone just because their sales process is so genuine, so feel good, and so non-pressury and pushy, because that's what happens a lot in my business. And I've worked a lot with generator coaches over the years. I've studied a lot of different sales scripts and the psychology behind each line and why they work and the urgency and um, and there's so much interesting stuff around sales psychology, and I still use a lot of that, right? But if you're on a sales call, let's just take the example of sales calls because I used to do them a lot unsuccessfully, but I just kept going. Then I didn't do them at all for a while because I was so burned out with them. And now I'm doing them sometimes. I sometimes when I feel like, oh, this is a good next couple of weeks to do some sales calls and get some new energy moving, and I'll do that and I'll advertise them a little bit more again. But I also have a consistent funnel that brings in people who watch one of my webinars, and then at the end, if they are interested in it, they can book a call with me to see if working together would be something they want to do. So I have usually a couple of them on my calendar every week, maybe one a week, maybe three a week, depending on the flow of the universe as well, without pushing it. So I just let it happen, and I say no to the ones where I feel like in the pre-questionnaire, I feel like they're not quite there yet, or they wouldn't benefit as much from my mentorship. So I've really, over time, just really calibrated my selling process more toward um, making it be a service to the person who reaches out to me, the prospect. And I have a lot of people who even just approach me on Instagram and send me a message and say, hey, what does your one-on-one mentorship look like? And I'm never giving them an answer because I first need to know where they're at, because I want to make sure that I'm not trying to just sell them something, right? One of the people that I love listening to on YouTube, and he's in high integrity, right? But when he gets that question and somebody asks him, his name is Myron Gold, and he's a wonderful mentor. You can look him up, lots of years and years of free, amazing content. But he says if somebody asks him what he has to sell, he says it depends on what you want to buy. And that is a very good answer, right? But it's also, I have to make sure first that what the person, especially as a projector, I only have interest and energy in working with someone or on who's really aligned or on a specific problem that I love to solve and that I happen to be embodied and really, really amazing at, whether that's skills or energetics or natural talent or all of the all of the above combined. And if that person who reaches out to me doesn't have that, I've learned to be able to say no, because I know that when I say yes to accepting money for something that isn't ultimately my zone of genius and what I'm supposed to be doing with clients, then I'll just keep creating more of attracting unaligned clients. So, how selling is really different for projectors than for other types is, and I feel like especially generator types, they can really thrive with, and also some projectors, but they can thrive with the structure of a call. Maybe you have this first, I ask this, then I say that, then I say this, then I say that. And I did a masterclass the other day, a paid masterclass for easy projector sales calls, but we went through some of that stuff, but a lot also about, hey, how can we just have a normal conversation to see if my services are here to serve you, if that's the right thing for you. And without going into like the long and short of it, because I want to keep this video and this training really succinct and make it really easy for you to assimilate it into your sales process and to be and for just to use it, to transform the way how you think about selling. But it's really about just feeling, and this is your genius as a projector. You have this really pointy, targeted aura to feel into with your intuition, what does this person need, right? And I set an intention oftentimes. I hope to carry it with me at all times by now, but sometimes I still have to remind myself again of like, I just want to serve this person and serve them for what's best for them. Please show me what their soul needs. And then I get questions, or I get realizations, or I get images during the sales call. And when I trust them, when I follow those over any structure and any script that I might have, then usually the client feels like I'm so tuned into them, and I feel into what their lack is around making the decision, because I don't want anyone to sign up with me out of a lack or fear or doubt or worry, or the feeling like if I don't sign up with her, then I'm never going to get it, out of a deep need. Because if they do that, then they're not going to get the results with me. And that's bad for them and bad for me and bad for everyone they were meant to be serving, right? And so part of my sales process, and I just had one like an hour ago, where I noticed some things about her wording that that suggested to me that she might feel tempted to make this decision out of a need or lack energy. And I spoke to it and I said, so here's my advice for you to making a decision, to make it from abundance, to make it from a feeling of everything I touch after this will be gold. But, from that feeling of I don't need it, but I want it. And it actually brought her to tears, and I've signed quite a few clients just by being really genuine and service-based and and caring about what they need in the process, more than following my script and asking, what about this and what about that, and what is your pain and what is your heaven, what is your hell? Of course, because I've done probably by now over 300 sales calls in my last 6 years plus, maybe almost 7 years of business. That's with a big break in between. So I did a lot in the beginning, and then, but still, I know a lot of the script questions. I know the psychology behind them. I always learn more. I always play with other questions and the psychology of how can you point the finger at somebody's pain in a more gentle way, other than, so, what, like, what's the hell in your life right now? I don't know. That's not what they ask. But, like a lot of projectors are very uncomfortable with the pain point questioning, and just playing with different ways of how to do that in a more gentle way, so that, like, yes, the client needs to be aware of where they are right now, and they need to have an understanding of, yes, they're suffering and you need to point the finger at something, or else you can't create that gap, that they know, like, if there is a gap and then you're the solution to get them from here to there, there's there's a psychology behind buying and selling that goes through a few steps usually, and the gap is one of them, right? If we're a business owner, we need to know how to handle that. But then to handle it from a projector energy, to handle it gently, to handle it in tune with the other person, without judgment, without forcing, without trying to convince them, and just by guiding them into how to make the best decision for them, while you're also holding the confidence and the conviction that your work and your service is worth exactly that money, if not 10 times more, which is usually the best pricing. If you're charging about a tenth of what the transformation is worth to your client. And that's not just monetary, right? But leaving this person with a sense of solution and possibility, and also with a sense of sampling of your seeing, of your energy, and of your work by following that tuning into this person's energy field of what they need, asking what does their soul need, and then encouraging them to make the decision out of abundance and more and trust energy, and not from doubt, fear, and pain. And of course there's pain involved, right? But so many of my clients, they just want to really work with me because they want to sell like this to their client too, because they hate the pushy sales. They hate trying to be convinced, and they want their clients to feel that cared for in the sales call, in the sales process as well. And I feel like that's just for us projectors such a big thing that we're meant to bring into the world. We're changing, we're shifting paradigms, not just that we're examples for how things are meant to be in work. Using our sacral wisely makes us role models, because we can't succeed if we're not using our sacral wisely for work. And so the generators, they're already so inspired by each one of the projectors who has figured it out, because they want to use their defined sacral also wisely, right? They can puffle along a little bit longer, but we cannot fake it. And so I feel like for money consciousness and for selling, it's going to be just in line with that, that we are here to shift a lot of paradigms, and we have to go first and selling genuinely and with care, and not trying to make money off of someone who is not the right fit, where the invitation isn't right, right? That's just something that we really get to stand for, and that we as projectors get to be examples for. And I hope this training has a lot of stuff in it for you so that you can shift that for you. And if you would love to work on this with me deeper, send me a message either on Instagram or comment below. And I just really want you to feel good about selling, because as an entrepreneur, there's just two things that you really need to have down. And one is your own mastery, your process, your results, and your thing that you do with your people. And the other thing is selling, because without that, you don't have a business. So I've always just been really, really passionate about this, and been studying this and mastering this for the last almost 7 years in my own business as a projector solo, because it's quite a different thing. I just last little side track here, but I used to have a startup with my ex-husband who's a manifesting generator, and it was so easy. Our energies worked so well together, right? And I did a lot of the organizational stuff and the energetics, and seeing him and encouraging him, and he was doing a lot of the coding, and it was really effortless success. But I always believed that I needed somebody else in order to create that success, like somebody else's generator sacral or doing energy. And so the last years since I ever went on this journey so I started this journey in 2017. So do the math, middle of the year. I guess that'll be 8 years almost. But a lot of that has been on, like, I didn't want to need anyone else to be successful in my business. And it's quite a different journey for projectors. And I'm happy because I can bring this now to all the projector entrepreneurs and coaches who want to learn this genuine way of doing business, of selling, and still having a lot more than just the necessary in your bank account. Because you're meant to thrive with the gifts that you bring. But selling is a piece of it. So I hope to shed more light and awareness and consciousness around how to do this genuinely and with fun and loving the process as a projector. So If this was helpful and you like this, subscribe, click like or love or whatever the buttons are down below and give me a comment. I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway or aha is from this training. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.